Hey everyone, it's Christian from the Calcio Bros, and here once again to talk about Serie A Calcio, and definitely a lot of results that happened that really you would see it being like, wow. I really did not expect some of them. Like there's one in particular I did not even see coming. We'll get right to that. Before we get to their discussion and talking about what happened, I just want to say, uh, talk about Kobe Bryant as he was an avid Calcio fan. May he rest in peace with his daughter and the 7 others that lost their life in a helicopter crash. As we know, he was a huge Milanista as well, did grow up in Italy as well before moving back to the United States, and he does speak fluent Italian, so may he rest in peace, and we honor um, those who did lose their lives. Milan has just stated as well before their Coppa Italia match against Torino, they will hold a moment's silence and they will all wear a black armband in honor of him. Now let's get right to Serie A. We had all these games this weekend, and again, some interesting results, which we'll get to as well. We had one game on the Friday this time, and it was Brescia-Milan. Milan were looking confident as well after a great comeback win against Udinese last week. They come and beat Brescia 1-0 thanks again to substitute Ante Rebic, who comes on and scores the game winner. 3 goals now in his last 2 games. Is he going to be Milan's new savior going forward? Is like when he starts playing more consistently, is he going to really contribute more to the team? It's a lot to see, but you can tell now Milan are looking much stronger and much better than the team they used to be at the beginning of the season. Donnarumma now, with this result, is leading the league, I believe, now with 8 clean sheets. Incredible considering Milan, it was so hard for them to keep one. So he's going in the right direction. This whole team's going in the right direction now. And with Ibra there, you can tell that Milan have looked better with him. Not just like with his talents, but his characteristics, the leadership he brings. It's different, and this is exactly what Milan were missing in their team. Just someone who has that winning mentality. And when you have someone like Ibra who just wants to win, he will help get the best out of all your team. So this is a good match for Pioli going forward, and they have a tough test next week as well, and they're going to hope to get a good result going forward. Now we move on to Sunday. Again, the usual 3 games, 9 a.m. Spal, Bologna. Bologna takes this one 3-1. And, Spal would have liked to continue their momentum after beating Atalanta away, which was a shock result last weekend. It didn't happen so, and Mihailovic's men get an important 3 points away, and it just helps them climb up the table as well. And they just keep moving forward. And with Mihailovic in charge, you do have a good coach, and he can get the best out of your players. Noon game, we had Fiorentina-Genoa, which finished 0-0. Criscito even missed his first penalty of his career. Dragowski saving it with his leg, a very poor shot penalty as well. But there's not much you can do here. Fiorentina will hope to move forward, and especially they have a big game coming up as well, which we'll get into. They want to hope they can get something positive as well. Now, 2:45, probably one of the biggest results this weekend. No one, I think, would have expected this. Atalanta completely thrashing Torino. Like, wow. Like, Atalanta were the top scorers. They have 57 goals in 21 games this season in Serie A. That is incredible. They are, I believe, the second highest scoring team in the top 5 leagues. Who would have thought it was Atalanta that scores this many goals? They were last year's top goal scorers, but this is like, oh my God, they beat Parma 5-0. They beat Milan 5-0. They have this 7-0. They beat Udinese, I believe it was 7-1 as well. Like, that's 24 goals in 4 games already. Oh my God. No one would have expected this at all. Torino, yes, we're down 2 men, but it was 5-0 before that. How? Like, wow, no one. I'm honestly at a lost words because it's so hard to keep saying the same thing over and over about a team who's incredible. Like their players, the coach, like he's just able to get the best out of these players. Ilicic scoring a hat-trick, and one of his goals was incredible. Quickly taking a free kick and scoring it from half as well. Like, he really caught Sirigu off his line, and it just capped off a wonderful day for him. Murillo came off the bench and scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. So, like, they just ripped them to shreds completely. Like, no chance. I know Mazzari was completely embarrassed. He apologized. Torino players were in tears after the game, had to be consoled by the Atalanta players. They were completely embarrassed. And honestly, it's just, wow. I would not have expected this coming from Torino. So Atalanta just keep on strolling, and they get going after that hard loss against Ball last weekend. So they keep moving up, they want to keep it competitive, and just like that, again, 24 goals in 4 games, 57 goals in just 21 games alone. That's incredible. Like, and I can't imagine what they have in store for the rest of the season going forward. Now we will move on to Sunday, 6:30 morning game, Inter Cagliari. Inter were hoping to get a foot onto Juventus, but that didn't happen. Game finishes 1-1 here. Martinez gets sent off in the last minute, but that really didn't help, I guess. But Martinez, he did score early on, assisted by Ashley Young, who gets a good start in his Inter debut here. And then who else but Raja Nainggolan scoring against his team, his parent club right now. And that's a huge point for Cagliari, considering, yes, they haven't won in so many games. They haven't won in like 5 games. But they are able to get a positive result here against Inter, especially away from home at the San Siro. That is big for them. And they will hope to, gives them newfound confidence. But now with Martinez, because it caused a huge fuss at the end, who knows how much he can, or how long he will be suspended for. Because if it's any longer, this he'll be missing next game for sure. But if it's a 2-game suspension, he will be missing the derby, and that will be hard for Inter to miss one of their top strikers. But they will have other players. Sanchez is back. They are finalizing the Eriksson deal as well. So there's a lot Inter can do in that time, but at the same time, you're losing such a player like that. At least Juve did falter, so that was one good thing with Inter. But again, back-to-back games where, or not even back-to-back, that's their 3rd game in a row where they don't win, and they lose more traction on Juve if they even want to keep any pace up on them for first spot. Still lots of games to play, but with every round that comes, another round, there's less rounds to play for. So they really have to pick up their game if they really want to get anything. Let's move on to 9 a.m. now. So we had 3 games. Verona-Lecce finishing 3-1 for Hellas Verona. 3-0 for Hellas Verona. Huge victory for them. Lecce here also get a sending off as well, coming from Del Orco. But Verona, again, complete control. They're having a good season right now, sitting in 9th spot with another huge victory as well. Lecce, yes, they're sitting outside the top 10, but they need to pick up points. They have done better away from home, but they need to pick up something here. Not much you can do. Verona are just in form and are just playing much, much better. Other 9 a.m. game, 0-0 Sampdoria Sassuolo. Sassuolo even hanging on with an earlier red from Paluzzo, so they managed to hold on for the draw here. And I know Sampdoria will be disappointed that they couldn't come away with anything, but even the point helps them push farther away from the bottom of the table, considering a lot of the other teams did falter this weekend too. So as much as they would have I know they'll take the point, but they know they should have done much better, considering they're up a man for basically majority of the game. The last 9 a.m. game, Parma-Udinese finishing 2-0 for the home side here. Gagliolo with a great strike, and then Kulusevski with another good strike, which Musso should have probably had, but he didn't. But It's probably too hard of a shot for him, but it could have done much, much better there. So big win for Parma as they also keep up their race. They're sitting close to Europa League spot as well. Udinese would have hoped to get something, but they're still mid-table-ish right now. They would hope to get points after back-to-back defeats now. So all they can do is pick themselves up. While Parma had first half goals that sealed the victory for them. The noontime game, the Derby della Capitale. Roma, after winning their last game, they come into this game hoping to continue it. While Lazio again were on their 11-game winning streak here and hoping to make it 12 against their bitter city rivals. Very close game here, but both goals coming from goalkeeper mistakes. Strakowska making a huge mistake on Jekyll's goal, and I don't even know how to explain what happened on Acerbi's goal. That was between Smalling and Paul Lopez. I really don't know what happened there. So either way, both teams split the points here, ending Lazio's winning streak. Again, they still remain undefeated in so many games, and they continue their hot run of form, and they continue to push up the table, get closer to Inter, but they would again it would have brought them higher. It would have brought them level on Inter as well and keep it even much closer at the top. But we'll see how Lazio have to cope with going forward. The last game of the weekend was a huge victory for Napoli. This is their first home win in Serie since October, and especially that it comes against Juventus. It makes it even better for them. Huge victory. Zielinski tapping it home, as well as Lorenzo Insigne with a great strike, and Ronaldo made sure that they were not shut out, grabbing a late goal after a huge mistake from Meret. That makes it 12 goals in 8 consecutive games for Ronaldo. He keeps up his scoring run, but it's still not enough to stop Napoli from taking all 3 points. It is also a huge week for Gattuso, as they did beat Lazio earlier in the week in the Coppa Italia, and then they go and beat Juventus in the Serie A. So that is huge for them, and maybe this could be the turning point in where their season turns around for them and they're able to push themselves up forward, try going for that Champions League spot. With this win, they do pop into the top 10, and it may give them the belief and momentum they need that they have been missing. They did put up a strong display. Juve didn't play the best they're able to, and really it seems like Gattuso outclassed Sarri and like with his formation wise. He just managed to do better here. Sarri will have to learn. We'll just have to learn and maybe switch around his players a bit more, because whatever he did, it just didn't work against this Napoli team. With Ronaldo's late goal too, they were close to being Napoli were close to being the second team to shut out Juve, but it didn't happen, and that was also cursed to the commentator as I was watching that. He did jinx it there. He said as soon as Ronaldo scored. So the only team to do that was Fiorentina, and then that is also their upcoming game, which we'll talk about as well. So now Juve, do suffer their second defeat of the season, and now it's still up for grabs as Inter did get 1 point to get themselves a little closer to Juventus, but Juve would have loved to take full advantage of Inter's draw earlier in the day, but they just couldn't. So they just really opened it up for Inter and even Lazio to just get a little closer to them as well for next weekend. So that was round 21. Lots of excitement, lots of results, lots of everything pretty much. What was the shock result that, I think we all know what the shock result was, but what game, were you just like, oh my god, I did not see that coming at all? What game were you excited for? Let us know what you guys think on some of these results. Do you think Torino should fire Mazzari, or like I know he didn't resign, maybe he should have. But do you think it's wise for him to resign, or for Cairo to fire him now, or do you think they should hold out the rest of the season and go from there? Do you think Milan can continue their momentum, and would Rebic be their new savior with Ibra up front? Let us know. And like this, do you guys really think Juventus can keep going all the way they're playing, or do you think they'll eventually lose out the first spot between Inter or Lazio? Comment below. Let us know what you guys think. And now with those results, the standings do change probably just a little bit. Bottom three, we still have Spal, Genoa, and Brescia in that order going down. Brescia still, they're actually looking here all tied with 15 points, but Brescia right now sitting dead last. It's still quite close, because considering Lecce is only a point above them, while Sampdoria are 5 points ahead. So it's still very close. The Swallow is there right now. Yes, they're only 8 points above that relegation spot, but still, if they continue to drop points and they somehow decide to start getting points, it could be a bit of a scare for them as well. And like I don't want to say, like, even Fiorentina, who's only 10 points from relegation, like I don't know. I don't see them getting relegated, but I know last year they were very, very close. So, but they do need to pick it up if they have any hopes of moving away and keeping themselves safe. Like I said earlier, Napoli, with their win, move into 10th spot. So they are getting there. Like, they're going in the right direction now, but they have to keep this going. They have to play with confidence. They have to play with the freedom they need and the creativity, because they know they can do it. They know they are able to outplay their opposition, but they have to play to the best of their abilities. Verona sitting comfortably in 9th, Milan up there in 8th, and only sitting 7 points behind Atalanta. So Milan would hope to continue their momentum right now. They don't have the prettiest of records, 9, 4, and 8. But they are undefeated in their last 4 games, and they hope they can do it, like continue their run. They do play Verona next weekend, so they are only sitting 2 points behind them. So that's going to be a very tight game, and I know they are playing at the San Siro as well. So Milan will look to get their home crowd behind them and push to get this victory. Like I said, Parma sitting in close to that Europa League zone in 7th, tied with Milan on points. So it's going to be anyone's game at this point here. Cagliari still sticking in that Europa League spot at 31, tied with Parma. So they will hope to maybe get themselves a victory, as like I said, they don't have a single win in their last 5 games, so they want to hope to change their fortunes around and moving back in that positive direction that we saw at the beginning of the season. Atalanta are only a point behind Roma in 5th spot, so they can easily pass Roma, depending if Roma falters again and Atalanta win and all that stuff, But they can't give up games like they did against Spal, but if they continue to thrash people like they did against Torino, we'll be seeing them move up, like way up the standings and catching up to maybe Lazio or Inter, who knows. But it's still like they're not many points separating the 3rd from 5th. It's only a 8-point difference, so it's still very close. And like I said, with that draw, Roma are up there as well. Lazio sitting in 3rd right now with 46 points. But Lazio, remember, do have that game in hand. If they do win that, they move a point ahead of Inter and 2 points behind Juventus. So it's still very close. Inter have 48, Juve 51. So 5 points between Juve and Lazio. And oh man, it's just heating up here for the Scudetto race. Anything can happen. I'm hoping it stays competitive like this right to the end. I don't want it to be a Juve landslide, like a 10-point lead, 20, stuff like that, I don't want to see anything like that. I want to see this competitive and showing that other teams are able to compete, and it's not just a one-horse one horse race here in Italy. You know, we need to show that our teams are competitive, and then other teams can compete for the title. So again, like I said, there are still lots to play, and we will like to see what happens with the rest of the games here. So keep an eye out, and with that, we're also going to move to the next round, round 22 in Serie A. February 1st, the Saturday 9 a.m. game, Bologna-Brescia. Bologna again want to keep their momentum going forward, while Brescia will hope to get something here, you know. Like, they want to get some points and hopefully move out of that relegation, push themselves up. They want to stay another year in Serie. They don't want to go back down. They want to keep themselves up here, and they want to do anything they can. They do have Torre Grossa, who was in good form as well, so he will keep looking forward. Donnarumma has been a striker who has been on a goal drought, so he will really hope they get him going, considering he was one of their top scorers last year in Serie B. So they will hope to get him to get going. I believe Balotelli is still suspended for this game, as he was, I think, a 2-game suspension. So still, there's a lot to play for here, and both teams will look to get a positive result. 12 p.m. game, Cagliari-Parma. Cagliari will look to get their first win in 5 games, while Parma will want to keep their get their third win in their last 5. So they want to keep moving up, and even move up in the standings. They will pass Cagliari if they do win this, and then Cagliari would even go farther away from Parma as well. And especially if one of these two teams win, they distance themselves up from Milan, Verona, from those teams there, and keep pushing themselves. So it would be a very tight affair, this one. Last game on the Saturday, Sassuolo-Roma. Sassuolo haven't looked the best this year, and Roma want to take full advantage after getting a draw in the derby, and hopefully trying to get a win here and keep their positive streak going. And they want to take a full advantage of a fragile Sassuolo team. February 2nd, 6:30, we got one of the biggest rivalries as well, Juventus-Fiorentina. This game, it always tends to be heated, always provides great entertainment. It's unfortunate that it is a 6:30 game, and I know a lot of people don't like waking up unless you support any of these teams. So it will be a very entertaining game for sure, a very tight affair. So I don't think it will be a hugely dominated game. I feel it could be a 1 or 2 goal game difference. We'll see what happens. Juve want to bounce back after a disappointing loss to Napoli. Fiorentina want to hope to get their seasons up and rolling. They're sitting farther down the standings, and they're thinking, if we beat Juve, we can definitely change our seasons around. And that's what they want to do. They want to take Juve, who have their heads down after that defeat, and just pile on the misery to them. Let's see if they can take advantage of that. And even Ronaldo, can he keep going? Will he score goal number 13 in his 9th consecutive game? Let's see what happens in this game. Now at the 9 a.m. games, we have 3 once again. Milan, Verona, Atalanta, Genoa, Lazio, Spal. So Milan want to keep their positive momentum going forward and go undefeated in 5 straight games and go on a 4-game winning streak here against Verona. Like I said, only 2 points separates these two. Verona have had an outstanding season this year, so they will hope to keep going in a positive direction, but they have a tough Milan test, and Milan have looked better. Theo Hernandez increasing and just playing outstanding every week. Ibra bringing that leadership to the team, and it seems like Pioli is starting to get his players together and play with confidence and look like a better team. Let's see if Rebic will actually start this game, or if he's going to be another super sub and maybe score the winner coming from the bench. It's good to see. It'll see what Pioli will bring going to this game. Like I said, the other game is Atalanta-Genoa, and Genoa sitting at the bottom there, so we could see another goal fest from Atalanta taking advantage of this poor Genoa side. So that will be a very entertaining game to see how many goals Atalanta will be able to score here, or if Genoa will be able to hold on and get a surprise victory against the Nerazzurri here. The other one, Lazio Spal. Lazio want to keep going. They're playing another relegation side right now in Spal, who haven't looked the best. Again, they did have the shock result against Atalanta a couple rounds ago. Maybe they're hoping they can do the same thing against Lazio at the Olimpico. But Lazio come in such great form, it'll be hard to get anything at the Olimpico here. So Lazio will hope to get their winning ways back on after a slight setback against city rivals Roma. So we'll see how that game finishes as well. Lecce Torino at 12 p.m. Lecce hoping to get their first home victory of the season, while Torino just want to forget and move on from that embarrassing home loss to Atalanta and want to get going in a positive direction and get their season going right. You know, they want to keep moving, push up in the top 10. Let's see how Mazzari's side will respond after like this weekend's matchup. So I know their mentality may not be there. They are missing 2 players. So a lot of work for Torino to do. Afternoon game, 2:45, Udinese Inter. Inter want to get back to winning ways after 3 straight draws. So they will hope to get a positive result away here, while Udinese want to get something out of this. They did beat Milan at the Dacia Arena, but Milan were another story at the beginning of the season. So Inter will hope to get a positive result, while Udinese, same thing, want to rebound after having lost their last 2 games. So they really want to get themselves back to winning ways. Now the last game of round 22 is on the Monday, February 3rd, 2:45, Sampdoria at Napoli. And like I said, Sampdoria have looked much better with Ranieri, and they did get a draw last weekend. And unfortunately, yes, they couldn't capitalize on a 10-man Sassuolo, but they will look to keep moving forward. Napoli, after a really convincing win over Juve, will hope to carry that momentum going forward and take advantage of Sampdoria, who, yes, haven't looked the best as they usually do. So they want to take full advantage of that and hoping to get another victory, which will help push them above Verona, depending on how their game goes, you know, and move them up the table as they want to get reaching to the top 4 here in Serie. It'll definitely be a challenge for them to move up, but if they can keep on winning, Gattuso's side may as well see themselves in the Champions League. So those are all the games for round 22. And with Inter's game, going back to that, we may see Christian Eriksen dress up for that game. Once he gets all his medicals done in these coming days, he may either start or just come off the bench, but he may be there we will see. So don't forget to keep posted on social media. We will be tweeting as well once it happens, so keep an eye out for that as well. So with that all taken care of, let us know what game you're looking forward to in round 22. What do you expect to see? Will Milan continue their winning ways? Can Napoli continue their momentum shooting up the table? Can Fiorentina grab a shock result against Juventus? Or will Juventus rebound back against this young Fiorentina side? Lots and lots to play for this weekend. So again, tune in for those games. Let us know which one you're most interested to, and what do you guys expect is going to happen in next weekend's fixtures. So that's all from us today. Again, keep posted on our Twitter. We are always tweeting what's happening with the Calcio Mercato, and always keeping you guys updated during the game when we are watching them for sure. We try to keep you guys as much updated as we can and let you guys know what's going on. So hopefully you guys don't forget to follow us on there, Calcio_Bros. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for our latest videos. Click the bell to receive the notifications when we release our newest videos. And we'll hear from you guys soon. Ciao.